On my third day at Somatheeram Ayurvedic Resort in Kerala, my Ayurvedic doctor said something to me that I honestly haven't stopped thinking about. He said, your body has been very patient with you. And I just sat there because I felt those words. You know, I'd been traveling for years by this point, stayed in beautiful places, experienced wonderful spas, luxury hotels, and relaxing treatments, but nothing had ever felt quite like this. This was different. It wasn't just about having a massage or switching off for a few days. No, it felt like my body was finally being listened to. And I remember asking myself, what does my body actually need? I arrived at Somatheeram expecting Ayurveda treatments, rest, and a wellness retreat. But what I found was something much deeper. So in this video, I'm going to share my honest experience of staying at Somatheeram Ayurvedic Resort in Kerala. What I expected, what surprised me, what I found difficult, what I loved, and whether I would genuinely recommend it to you. Somatheeram Ayurvedic Resort is in Chawara, south of Kovalam near Trivandrum in Kerala. It sits on a hilltop above the Arabian Sea, surrounded by tropical greenery, traditional style buildings, and that beautiful coastal energy. Somatheeram describes itself as the world's first Ayurveda resort, founded by Mr. Baby Matthew in 1985, with the idea of creating an Ayurveda hospital in a resort ambience. And I think that is important because this is not just a spa hotel. It is not somewhere you go simply to choose a massage from a menu and relax for a few days. It has been operating for decades, and according to Somatheeram's own information, it has won many national and international awards for Ayurveda and yoga, including Kerala State and Indian government awards. But honestly, awards were not the main reason I chose Somatheeram. I chose Somatheeram because I was at a stage in my life where I knew I needed something more than a spa holiday. I had been through a lot of personal change in the previous few years. I was rebuilding. I was tired in a way that 1 week of nice weather, good food, and a beautiful hotel was not going to touch me. I needed, and I say this very honestly, to be looked after. Ayurveda interested me because it does not just look at one symptom. It looks at the whole person. It asks how you sleep, how you digest, how your energy feels, how your mind is moving, what your body type is in Ayurveda. It takes seriously the idea that the body is more than just a collection of separate parts. And that really spoke to me because I didn't want to just feel relaxed for a few days. I wanted to understand what my body had been trying to tell me. I had been curious about Ayurveda for years. I had read about it, I'd heard about it, but I wanted to experience it and experience it properly in India, in a place where Ayurveda was not just added on as spa treatment, but was at the center of the whole experience. And Somatheeram felt like the right place for that first genuine Ayurvedic retreat for me. I flew into Trivandrum Airport, and the resort is approximately 20 minutes away by car. Somatheeram arranged the transfer for me, so that part was very easy. And from the moment I arrived, it felt calm. My first impression was the beautiful setting. It really is extraordinary. You are high above the beach, overlooking the Arabian Sea. I stayed in a cottage-style room within the resort grounds, and from my veranda, I could hear the sea. The room was simple, comfortable, beautiful, and traditional. Again, this is important to say honestly. If you are expecting a super modern 5-star luxury hotel room, this is not that. This is more traditional Kerala style. The grounds are traditional, thatched roofs, tropical gardens, open walkways. It is not a sleek contemporary hotel. It feels older, more rooted, and more particular. And I say that as someone who loves both. I love beautiful modern hotels, but there was something very intentional about the look and feel of Somatheeram. It felt authentic, it felt peaceful, and I found that immediately calming feeling. So after the check-in, I had my first consultation with the Ayurvedic doctor, and this was not a quick 5-minute chat. It was detailed. First you fill out a form, and then the doctor goes through every question with you properly. He asked me about my sleep, my digestion, my energy, stress level, emotions, lifestyle. He checked my pulse in the traditional Ayurvedic way using 3 fingers and sitting very quietly. He looked at my tongue and my eyes. And what stayed with me was how attentive he was. I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel like I was being processed. I felt like someone was actually looking at the whole of me. And honestly, that felt unusual because so often we are used to being asked one quick question, given a quick answer, and then moving on. This felt different. It felt personal, thoughtful, and now looking back, I think that was the beginning of something deeper. After my first day consultation, the Ayurvedic doctor created a 7-day Ayurvedic wellness program just for me. And this is one of the big differences between Somatheeram and a normal spa hotel. You don't choose treatments from a menu. The treatments are recommended based on your consultation, your body type, your current condition, and what the doctor feels you need. In Ayurveda, your natural constitution is called Prakriti, basically your body, mind type. And the idea is that each person is different. So what I needed may not be exactly what another person might need. My treatments included Abhyanga, which is a full body warm oil massage, usually done by 2 therapists working together. I also experienced Shirodhara, where warm oil is gently poured over the forehead, and I had herbal poultices treatments, oils, and other preparations that were part of my program. Now, I want to say this honestly, the treatments are not like a regular spa massage where you just relax and choose your favorite oil. They feel much more intentional, more precise, more connected to a purpose. The treatments were slow, careful, and performed with what I can only describe as genuine care. These were not spa therapists just going through a sequence. These were trained practitioners doing something they understood deeply. They were gentle, professional, and incredibly caring. But it didn't feel like pampering in the usual sense. It felt like a treatment. It felt like my body was being supported. And I want to be honest about the first few days. Days 1 and 2, I was restless. My mind was still running at the pace it had arrived at. I kept thinking I should be doing something, checking my phone, planning, being productive. And I almost laugh now because I had gone to an Ayurvedic retreat and still wanted to be productive. But Ayurveda doesn't really work like that. It asks you to slow down. And if you don't slow down willingly, the routine almost does it for you. The treatments, the meal times, the quiet, the early nights, the lack of alcohol, the simple food, the sea, the stillness. At first, my mind resisted it, but by day 3, something shifted. I started sleeping properly, not just sleeping, but deep sleeping. My body started to feel calmer, my mind became quieter, and by day 5, I understood what my doctor had meant when he said my body had been patient and I had not been listening to it. And maybe for the first time in a long time, I finally stopped long enough to listen. Now let's talk about the food and the daily rhythm, because this is important. The food at Somatheeram is Ayurvedic, so it's part of the healing program. It's not that kind of holiday where you wake up and think, what do I feel like eating today? Or shall I have a cocktail by the pool? This is not that kind of trip. And this can be a significant adjustment for most guests that I want to be straightforward with you about. The diet is Sattvic, light, fresh, seasonal, and designed to support the treatments. There's no alcohol, no meat, no heavy processed food, and meals were served at set times. And I'll be honest, the first 2 days were a real adjustment, not because the food wasn't good. The food was actually actually delicious. But I'm used to having a choice. I'm used to deciding when, what, and how much I want to eat. But then something happened. By day 4, I stopped thinking about what I wasn't having, and I started noticing how my body felt. It felt lighter, calmer, and more settled. By day 6, the whole rhythm made sense to me. The food, the treatments, the sleep, the sea air, the early mornings, it all worked together. And that is something I really want to explain. Somatheeram is not about one amazing massage. It's about the whole system. The food supports the treatment supports the body, the routine supports the mind, and the setting supports the nervous system. That is why it works. But you have to be willing to enter it. You can't really go there and keep one foot in your usual busy life. You know, I did take my laptop with me, and honestly, I wish I hadn't. If I went again, I probably will, I would not take my laptop. I would give myself permission to be fully there. And if you're thinking of going, that would be my advice. Don't go with too much work or a long to-do list. Don't go thinking you will fit in a retreat around your normal life. Go with space, because the space is part of the healing. And if I were returning, and I intend to, I would book a longer stay. 7 days was enough to feel the benefit, but I do think 7 days is the minimum. 10 or 14 days would allow the treatments to go deeper. I would also arrive with fewer expectations, because Ayurveda is different. It may not feel like a normal wellness retreat or a luxury spa hotel holiday, and that is the point. The guests who seemed to struggle the most, from what I observed, were the ones who arrived with a fixed idea of what a wellness retreat should feel like. But Ayurveda is something different. You have to let it meet you slowly. Let me be direct, because I think the most useful thing I can do is help you decide whether this experience is right for you. Somatheeram is for you if you want a genuine doctor-led Ayurvedic program, not just a spa holiday with Indian aesthetics. If you are interested in understanding your own body at a deeper level, if you are willing to surrender some of your control and your usual routines for 7 days or more, if you are going through or recovering from a period of significant stress, change, burnout, or transition, and if you want to come back feeling genuinely different from the person who arrived, this is for you. But this might not be for you if you want a holiday where you can drink cocktails by the pool, stay up late, and eat whatever you like, whenever you like. There is nothing wrong with that kind of holiday, but Somatheeram is not that. My honest rating would be 8.5 out of 10. The setting, the Ayurvedic program, and the quality of the practitioners were outstanding. The food was amazing, and the experience was genuinely transformative for me in a way I do not say lightly. The reason I'm not giving it a full 10 is because the adjustment period is real. The first few days can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to being busy, choosing everything for yourself, and staying in control. 7 days was beautiful, but I do think 10 or 14 days would have allowed the experience to go even deeper. So yes, I would recommend Somatheeram, but I would recommend it to the right person and for the right reason. So if you're interested, the contact and booking information for Somatheeram is linked below. If you are curious about Ayurveda, or you have been thinking about doing a retreat in India, I have created a free guide to help you understand what to expect. Comment Ayurveda below, or you can download the free guide from the link in my bio. And if you have any questions about Somatheeram specifically, please ask me in the comments. I'm happy to share what I can from my own experience. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, sometimes the journey we need most is not the one that takes us further away. It is the one that brings us back to ourselves. I'll see you in the next video.